Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Cole Poots, and we have yet again another music reaction. And it feels so weird to say because it's been a while since I've done a music reaction. I don't remember the last time I did one. It's well over a month ago, maybe a few months ago. I haven't really been posting much on my YouTube channel. There's really no rhyme or reason. I guess I just haven't felt compelled to do music reactions or record content. I mean, the last video that I put out was me getting back into skateboarding, and it was a really short video. It was under 10 minutes in length. But I don't know, like it feels like it's right to get back into it. It's not that I ever wanted to quit doing music reactions. I do think at some point it does get a little bit tiring. It does get a little bit redundant, but like I've still been creating, I've still been putting stuff out there. Like if you go to my business page on Instagram, like that's where I've been the most active, putting out photography posts. I created a series called Outfit of the Day where I showcase the outfit that I'm wearing in that given day that I'm wearing to work, doing my job as a job coach, a job developer, just showing you guys like my fashion sense. It's just another way to be creative and express myself and my personality. And then just as always, making thought provoking, thoughtful posts that I want to put out there on Instagram. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being a creative person is that there's literally going to be endless avenues that creative people can go down and chase. Like the creativity wants to go in all these different places. It's not just going to be boxed into what I do on my YouTube channel. Like I've been notorious over the years just trying out different things on YouTube. Like it all started with podcasting, but I've done vlogs, I've reviewed documentaries before, I've showed my vinyl collection, I've done an apartment tour one time. Like the literally the array of content and things that I can do and put out there is just endless. But I digress because the purpose of today is to get back into doing music reactions. So I apologize if I'm a little bit rusty. I haven't done it in a while, but I think it's going to be fun. And I just kind of landed on this choice. These are two artists that I really enjoy listening to their music. You have Honest Ave and you have MGK, and the song is called Crash First. And we will watch the official music video as well as listen to the song. Might have to go through it a few times. That's usually what I do on a music reaction. Honest Ave. I actually, last summer, I had no idea who Honest Ave was. And then my friend Jenna, she actually reached out to me and she's like, hey, this guy, Honest Ave, even if you're not familiar with him, he's coming to Woolies in downtown Des Moines, Iowa. We should go to the concert. We should check it out. She's like, I basically am not letting you say no because I've already gotten you a ticket. And I was like, okay, like I haven't listened to this guy, but I'm always open to listening to new bands, new artists, new musicians, just, listening to something that I've never heard of before. So I didn't even check out his music before we went to the show, but he put on a really good performance. He actually, during his set, he came into the crowd, and the crowd basically parted like the Red Seas, and there was two sides. There was the left side, the right side, and there was a lane down the middle that he was able to walk down. He actually came into the crowd, and I was actually able to like touch his shoulders. And then when he was coming back to the stage, I like dapped him up real quick, and I felt bad for Jenna because she was like really into his music. I never listened to him, and she was like behind me, so she wasn't able to like grab onto him or get a handshake or a high five or whatever. But I liked a lot of his music at the show, at the concert, and then after the show and the concert was over, I actually went home and started listening to more of his music intimately. Like just spending time with it, and I really enjoyed it. Most of his songs, it's not like I got into every single one, and I can't even say like to this day, fast forward a year, from last summer that like, oh, I'm like a major like Honest Ave fan. Like, no, I know he put out an album not that long ago, and I still haven't listened to it. And this might have been what, like the biggest single or the first single off the album. I know a lot about MGK. I know a lot about his discography. I started listening to MGK when I was in high school, dude. I'm talking like it was either freshman year or sophomore year. I want to say it might have been like freshman year going into sophomore year. And he was coming out with Wild Boy featuring Waka Flocka Flame. And I just remember that song being such a fucking anthem for a long time, like, especially that summer. And then from that point on, like, I was basically hooked. Like, I would watch, like, he had on YouTube, it was called like Kelly Vision or something, and basically his team or whatever, like, filming him on the road, basically filming like his entire life, like documenting his journey or what currently was going on in his life. And like, yeah, I just continued to listen to his music. So I started when he was in rap, and then he ascended to different genres, and he's arguably even bigger than he was before when he was solely focused on rap. And a lot of people want to hate on this man and his work and say that some of his songs can be cringeworthy. It's like, dude, I think every artist has that, right? Like, if you're going to put out so much music in the span of your entire career, there is a large probability that you're going to put out some duds here and there, and all of your music like is not going to resonate with everybody, right? Like, you're not going to appeal to everybody. But like I've said it before on the channel, I really respect what he did. Is he basically took a leap. He took a leap of faith and created Tickets to My Downfall, which is one of my favorite albums that he's put out in his discography. And then right after that, he did Mainstream Sellout. And then latest album was actually last summer. He had Lost Americana, which is, it's a great album from start to finish. I really don't feel like there's any duds on that album. And I just appreciate MGK because, yes, he has his roots and where he started, but just like any musician out there, it's so much more than the initial genre that they came up in. Like, Mac Miller was like that. He appreciated all different types of genres. He was a big Beatles fan. I never got into the Beatles, but yet Mac Miller did. Post Malone, now going the country route. Earl Sweatshirt doing experimental types of music and not just like typical rap and hip hop. So I've said it before, it's nothing new on the channel. Like, this is what artists and musicians and bands and creative people just at large should be able to do, and they shouldn't get diminished by their fan base or people out there that are like critical of their steps and what they do. It's just part of the human experience, man, is that you're meant to evolve as humans and individuals, but also from a career standpoint, a musician's standpoint. Like, they should be allowed to test out different things, try out different types of music that they didn't get recognized for or known for when they were coming up. To me, that's just a sign that like they're trying something new, they're trying to experiment. That is what, in a lot of ways, creativity is all about. Is obviously like form of expression, but like you're just experimenting. A lot of times when you're creating, you're just kind of like throwing things out there and seeing what sticks and what makes sense. So I appreciate both of these guys, and I'm really curious to see how they sound together on a track. As I understand, this is Honest Abe's. This is off of his album, I believe, and he's collaborating with MGK. If I get any details wrong, please let me know, guys. I don't know, man. I just have a feeling that it's going to be a good song. Both of these guys are really good artists in their own right, and they have some similarities in like how they sound and like express themselves, and maybe the themes and the topics that always pop up in their music. So I'm just interested. I think if I had to make a bet, a guess, an assumption, I would say they're probably going to sound very well together. Like, they're going to complement each other very well.
I fill my lungs with half my worth and try to go numb so that I can't hurt. Cause at my highs I'm at my worst, and I can't fly until I crash first.
Everyone's seeing me screaming, been that since birth. Everyone's seeing this money I'm blowing, but nobody's seeing the work. Look, Dad, I'm high like you, for me the pills don't work. I like digging in a bag, I like smoking till it hurt.
And if my eyes roll back, then let the tears come first. Been holding those in too long, faking it like I'm too strong.
And when my eyes roll back, throw my body in the dam. And them things in my pocket, will you hide them from my fam? Will you tell the world I loved hard? Can you make them understand that all the things I was struggling with, it didn't make me less a man?
And all of the trauma I'm trying to bury probably made me who I am. Think growing up broken was necessary so I could fix my fam. If part of me died on his deathbed holding my daddy's hand, just tell my daughters a father will drown if that means they can swim. I fill my lungs with half my worth and try to go numb so that I can't hurt. Cause at my highs I'm at my worst, and I can't fly until I crash first. I know that it takes time, I'm coming to get you.
Walking a straight line, I need me a breakthrough.
I'm smoking a grapevine, sipping the grape juice,
chopping a white line.
It's getting harder to face you.
Oh God!
Oh.
Hey, look! Oh. Fuck yeah! Hey, get out and tell the people, man. Hey, what way we got that? We can do this, man. What?
Yeah, take my hands off the wheel, I'm speeding.
I said I hate you when I left, I didn't mean it.
Open wounds from my nose, still bleeding.
Only you can clean me up, I'm still fiending.
Cold sweats and these meds can't treat it.
No sleep, I'ma party through the weekend.
Kerosene, black smoke, I'm breathing.
Somebody save me, I've been falling off the deep end. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck, I never gave a fuck. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck.
Under pressure, I don't got control of my aggression. Under the influence, I'm about to make a bad impression.
On a dresser, it's some ammunition and a weapon. And I've been smoking on this shit since I was adolescent.
36s, I'm trying to get lucky, number 7. I wonder if they got a spot for junkies up in heaven.
Leave a message, they gon' find my body in the bedroom.
And they can listen to this song if they want my confession. Take my hands off the wheel, I'm speeding.
I said I hate you when I left, I didn't mean it.
Open wounds from my nose, still bleeding.
Only you can clean me up, I'm still fiending.
Cold sweats and these meds can't treat it.
No sleep, I'ma party through the weekend.
Kerosene, black smoke, I'm breathing.
Somebody save me, I've been falling off the deep end. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck, I never gave a fuck. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck.
Go, 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 I'm getting closer to death. Go, 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 I'm getting closer. Go, 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 I'm getting closer to death. Go, 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 I'm getting closer.
All right. Hell fucking yeah. Honest first reaction, man. Like I say, I hate that I say the same things all the time, but God, it applies in so many of these music reactions. So much going on, and the lyrics and the flow between the two artists that I will definitely read the lyrics for the reaction purposes so I can understand a little bit more about what they're talking about. You hear some things, what I love first and foremost, like right off the bat, so it's called Crash First, and they're basically saying, I have to crash first before I ascend, before I reach a high, which, is really analogous to the whole human experience. I think everybody has had this experience however many times in their life, depending on how old you are, is that a lot of times what happens is we go through some type of hardship. I can think for myself, there's 2 years of my life that were really hard, 2019 and then 2025. So last year, still some remnants that I'm dealing with from 2025 bleeding over into 2026. But basically, you have to go through some type of hardship to have a change of perspective, maybe a period in time in your life where you were really depressed, and obviously that's a struggle. Nobody wants to be depressed, nobody wants to go through that moment in time, but sort of the insight and the transformation and the revelation that you get from going through that experience is the exact thing that you needed to go through, because it causes you to change on the latter end, and then you rise, and then you rise like a phoenix. I mean, after coming out of all of that hard stuff in 2019, I was good and pretty stable for a while. I've always struggled with certain things. I've talked about it on this channel, and maybe it'll come out in this reaction as we go further along when I like read the lyrics. But I've had, like I said, like 2019 and 2025 were just like signature years of some really intense struggles that persisted and like came back. But it feels like every time you get through one of those moments in your life, there's a rebirth that's waiting on the other side. So I liked how both of them were talking about that, but they just seem like they have really good chemistry as well. Like it just seems like as you're watching the music video, but also like listening to the song, I can just tell that Honest Abe and MGK, like they have chemistry, like they enjoy being around each other. I don't know if I'd go as far to say that they're like brothers or they're like super close. Like I don't know how long they've known each other, but like this collab just makes sense. I think I was kind of saying that on the intro, is just like the tonality of Honest Abe and his music, and him talking so much about the things that he struggled with in his life. And like MGK is very open about that stuff as well. And his music kind of going into at times like emo rap or just like an emo tone. Like it totally makes sense when you think about it that these two artists would link up at some point. But there's basically like a beat switch at some point. Like the whole song like flips on its head from being sad and then going into like energy. And I mean, sad is an emotion, so I don't want to say like the second half of the song doesn't have emotion. It's just a different type of emotion. And I don't, like I said, I don't know as much about Honest Abe, but what I can say about MGK over the years is he is a master of like comparing different emotions and like making them as a juxtaposition against each other. You know, like a juxtaposition is basically two separate items, but somehow you're able to meld them together. That, like, in that context of melding them together, it makes sense. MGK has always been phenomenal at that. And, you know, maybe that's the level that Honest Ave is also getting to, because I know, like, last year when I saw him in concert, you know, one of the reasons that he jumped in the crowd, like that story that I was telling you guys at the beginning of the video, he had said that like he wants to keep doing this on the smaller shows because he knows that like the next tour that he's going to do, he's going to go to bigger arenas or venues. And so like he still wants to feel that closeness with his fans. And like when he said that to us, you know, Des Moines, Iowa, Woolies, last summer, last June, it was like, this is a guy, Honest Abe, that appears to be really humble and really conscious of, you know, his rise in music and how he's getting more and more recognizable, more and more different levels of fame, but was still able to be conscious of like the moment and the transition moment that he was going through in his career. He knew that this Des Moines crowd, it was one of the last stops on that specific tour. And so it was one of those, you know, finite, don't want to say last, but one of those maybe few remaining moments where he could get that intimacy with the crowd and the people that paid money to come see him perform. So, and I think like MGK is definitely very conscious of those things too. Is actually, I think, like last weekend, I forget the YouTube channel and this guy's name, but it was this, I think he was black, but he was mixed. So he was like light skin. And he did an interview with MGK, and it was before one of MGK's concerts. And so they actually like went outside, obviously away from the fans, but wherever MGK could hang out and the rest of his crew and his team could hang out. And they go up to this tree, and it's a cool interview because literally like they're not sitting in chairs or anything, you know, right across the table from one another. There's literally a tree in the middle of them, and MGK is teaching this guy on how you put out certain intentions into the universe, because that specific day on that tour, it was like cloudy, it was like raining the whole day. And MGK asked this guy that was interviewing him, he's like, well, how do you want the show to go tonight? Like, do you want there to be rain or you want it to be like clear skies? And the guy's like, well, I would prefer that we don't have any rain, we don't have to deal with the weather, we don't have to deal with the elements. And MGK is like, all right, like let me show you something. And so he starts like, saying these things out loud to the universe, his intentionality, thinking the universe. And then, like, like, right after he says all of that, there's a part in the sky that opens up and it's like clear, it's like blue. And the guy that was interviewing him was just like amazed. I'll have to find it once again and then link it in the description below. But, when I've watched MGK's interviews, like I can sense that same thing. Like he was saying it in that interview that I'm referencing, that like every show that he has, like he's just trying to give the fans the best experience possible. He said in that interview that like a lot of times now when he goes out on tour, he doesn't even necessarily make a killing. He doesn't make a lot of money because he spends so much money on the set and the production and the visuals and making sure the audio is perfect, because he knows that that's what people take home with them. It's like, you know, okay, what are you really getting out of a concert? Like you're watching an artist like perform their songs and whatnot. Well, it's so much more than that, right? Like it is for the experience, and saying that this is once in a lifetime potentially. And that's when I don't like when artists, like when they're having a show or a concert and they don't do any crowd work, they don't personalize it, they don't address the state that they're in, they don't address the city that they're in. Last concert I went to was back in July, in downtown Des Moines at the Casey Center. It used to be Wells Fargo Arena, and I got to see Lil Wayne. He was on tour, and the opener was 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz put on like a really good set, a really good performance, but Lil Wayne, dude, like he did not do any crowd work. I have other beefs with that, but I'll digress because the focus is here. So you feel honesty, genuineness, raw. Like that's the beautiful thing about these two individuals and how much they just really open up in their music. And it's a powerful reminder to all of us humans that like we have to continuously do that ourselves. I mean, part of like what I went through in 2025 and kind of where I'm at right now mentally, like still doing a lot better, but like trying to rebound is, I think like at some point, like I really stopped expressing myself and like really opening myself up and being vulnerable and talking to people about what I was struggling with. I would like in certain pockets, but I was definitely suppressing myself a lot more. And that's never good for our human experience. I mean, it's not like going out there like to every single person that you interact with on a daily basis and just like trauma dumping. Like I hate when people first meet you and it's just like trauma dump. It's like there's a time and a place, but generally speaking, like what I'm saying is like being vulnerable. They said something in there about how whatever they went through did not make them less of a man. We're still wrapped up in a culture, like we've gotten better in terms of talking about mental health, but I almost think in some cases we've pushed it a little bit too far, that everybody thinks like every little, like you stub your fucking toe and somebody says, oh my God, well that's like ruining my mental health. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like that's not a real thing. Trauma is overused, gaslighting is overused, narcissism is like, not everything is predicated towards your mental health. Not everything is a traumatic experience, but the balance, like there's still stigmas that exist. Men still feel like, they can't talk about what they're going through, what's going on in their headspace. They feel like they're going to be criticized, that they're going to be judged. And you got to find those safe spaces. That could be therapy, that could be friends that have your best interests, like really just those circles of people that you really trust. And hard to find in 2026 because so many people are dealing with loneliness. I mean, we are going through a bunch of different problems in the world, a bunch of different problems in the United States of America, but especially specifically in this country, we are dealing with a loneliness epidemic. I would say it is more concerning, more alarming than anything we went through in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 with COVID, where everybody thought that, oh my God, this is going to take over the world, is going to kill people. No, like the real epidemic that we're going through. Loneliness is one of them that, rises to the top. I mean, especially in younger generations that really feel that way. But yeah, man, I'm talking a lot and I haven't even gone into the lyrics. I don't want to make this too long. I mean, I want to cover all of my bases, so I'm going to go through the lyrics real quick and just kind of see if that sparks anything else. So, crash first lyrics. I fill my lungs with half my worth and try to go numb so that I can't hurt. Because at my highs, I'm at my worst, and I can't fly until I crash first. The juxtaposition of crashing first before you go high, like I was saying with MGK. Like I said, the tonality really shifts because, like in the beginning, like you can even just see it on both of their faces. I'm sure that was partly for the purpose of the music video, but like it just also like looks sad in the beginning, and then there's like a moment, and we'll get to it in the lyrics, but there's a part in this song where MGK, when he was doing his verse or whatever, one of his verses, it I think he was like talking about his daughter, his kids or whatever. Like it really sounded like he was fucking crying. Like I didn't cry in when I was watching the music video, listening to the song, but like I was kind of starting to tear up. I was kind of getting emotional. I was getting chills on my body. They really communicated feelings and emotions very well in this track. Everyone's seeing my screaming, been that since birth. Everyone's seeing the money that I'm blowing, but nobody's seeing the work. So they just see the result, but they don't see the work that I've put in. This is now going to Honest Abe. Look, Dad, I'm high like you. Didn't his dad die because of drugs and overdose, I believe, from what I've heard in previous songs, previous music of his? For me, the pills don't work. I like digging in a bag. I like smoking till it hurts. And if my eyes roll back, then let the tears come first. Been holding those in too long, faking it like I'm too strong. Man, this is a line for like all men to hear. There is nuance in literally everything that we talk about as humans, every situation you go through in life. I hate when people say like, "Oh, it's black and white. It's like it's this or it's that." I mean, maybe in some cases, but in a lot of cases, there's nuance. Like I don't think like as a man, and being more masculine than I am feminine, guys hold on to this idea. I'm not saying all guys, I'm saying some guys hold on to this idea that they must hide emotions and how they're feelings, and if they're feeling upset or they're feeling sad or they're going through something tough, that they don't allow themselves to like crying really is a way to purge your emotions. Crying is healthy, dude. Like if you hold on, if we've all done this before, right? Like you hold on to things for so long, it's only how it's bound to happen at some point that you're going to burst. So wouldn't it be like healthier if you just let like your feelings and your emotions and your tears come out when they're present, deal with it, try and process it, let go, surrender, so that like it's not as heavy on the back end, and then you have more work to do, you have more effort to put in to unpacking those things. So there's nuance in everything. Like you shouldn't, I as a man, like I shouldn't be going out there and just like crying every single day about what I'm feeling and how hard things are. No, 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 no. You can shut those things away a little bit. You can wear a mask in a healthy sense, but you also have to be able, when it's the appropriate time, to like just kind of express yourself, share those things, what's sitting on your mind, obviously with somebody that's receptive. But like as far as we've come in the conversations of mental health collectively as humans, but I can really only speak from my experience, and so I'm a little bit more tuned in with how men might feel because I know how I have felt and what I've dealt with, times where I was expressing and I wasn't afraid to share those things, and then times in my life where hold I held myself up, and not like holding myself together. It was like I was not allowing myself to unleash any of that in a productive sense, not something that was going to run wild on other people or make their lives worse because they had to hear what I was going through. Like, it's just the human experience, man. Like, life is hard. You can't just keep everything to yourself. Life is hard. So, if we can do life with other people, it's going to make it a little bit less hard. People can be there for me, and then I can be there for other people. It's reciprocal, right? And that's probably how every healthy relationship should be. Is like you guys are going to meet each other where you're at. Sometimes that person's going to be down, and you got to carry the weight and the load. And this term that I read in a book here recently, and I actually applied it today in a conversation on a first date with this girl, this term called psychological air. Like the air that we breathe, like giving somebody psychological air, because depending on what people struggle with, maybe like in their past and in their childhood, they didn't feel like they really had those safe spaces to talk about things, to process things, to express themselves, just to be themselves. And when you give somebody psychological air, and this could be different from what happens in therapy, but therapy might be a good example if you have a good therapist, somebody that knows how to do their job very well, but like just giving people psychological air to really process what's going on in their mind, what's going on in their psychology. And so men obviously got to do a better job at that, but just humans in general, man. You don't need to hold things back all the time. That's arguably one of the biggest things that's making your mental state worse or making your life worse. So open up, but open up to the right people. Do it with caution in a sense, but don't always be cautious. Do not put yourself away. Don't store yourself away. As we move on, and when my eyes roll back, throw my body in the dam and them things in my pocket, will you hide them from my fam? Will you tell the world I loved hard? Can you make them understand that all the things I was struggling with didn't make me less of a man? I mean, that's like the heaviest line so far in the song. Like, it makes me want to cry, and it makes me want to get emotional, because whatever you're struggling with, and this applies to everybody, but what he's saying in his lyrics, because he's a guy, he's a man, is anything that he was struggling with that didn't make him less of a man. And yet, men, in large degree, still feel that way. Is that if they talk about what they're going through, try to find some type of appreciation for somebody else, just to acknowledge, just to validate, man. It's not like, again, for all of us humans, it's not always like you're gonna need to get your problem solved, because it doesn't just happen in one conversation. But a lot of times what makes us feel better collectively as humans is just being able to talk to somebody and just, again, getting that psychological air to like breathe for a second and to say, okay, my mind has made a lot of these situations a lot worse, has framed it in a negative light. But in this moment, and talking to somebody else, feels like my problems have really dimmed down. Or for that time of connecting with another human being, it's almost like all of my problems have gone away and vanished, because my focus is now on connecting with this person and the frequency that we're creating, and I'm not ruminating as much in my own head. Anytime we ruminate, we're going to make things worse. This is the crazy ability of the mind. The human mind is, it's so prone through the evolutionary process to look for negativity, to look for threats, to create problems a lot of times that don't exist. I mean, I'm a firm believer that humans, we have our problems, right? We all have our problems, but I think we make our problems worse, because I think we make them more complicated than they need to be. But that's a powerful line so far. I'm not through all the lyrics, but so far, that is the best line in the song. That made me tear up a little bit thinking about myself and my life and what I've gone through. And all of the trauma I'm trying to bury probably make me who I am. I think growing up broken was necessary so I could fix my fam. If part of me died on this deathbed holding my daddy's hand, just tell my daughters their father will drown if that means they can swim. That was the part where you could hear in his voice, it sounded like he was starting to get really choked up. Then we go into some repeating. Maybe this is where the song switches and completely switches up the tone, does like the beat switch or whatever. I fill my lungs with half my worth, try to go numb so that I can't hurt, because at my highs, I'm at my worst, and I can't fly until I crash first. I know that it takes time. I'm coming to get you. Walking a straight line. I need a breakthrough. That's another great line. It's so easy to resonate with. Like, I feel like that is how I have thought here recently, even as recent as like last night. Things that I'm thinking about in terms of like my life and what I need to do and what I need to change and how I can get better. Like I'm always thinking about those things. But walk in a straight line, I need a breakthrough. I feel like I do everything quote unquote right, like investing in my health, like getting outside, reducing time on my phone, being more expressing my creativity on Monday night of this week because today is Sunday. On Monday night, I went and did speed dating, which was something completely out of my comfort zone. I don't have dating apps anymore. I pray to fucking God, man. I left a job that wasn't serving me anymore back in April. So many things that I've changed. I have much better of a discipline on when I consume caffeine now. For the most part, over the last however many months, it started out with going like every other day with and without caffeine, and now going every 2 days before I have caffeine. So it's like all these things that you feel like you're doing right, and yet like you're still struggling. So I love that line, walking a straight line. I need to be a breakthrough. I'm doing all these things right. If we say like God, like I'm walking in a straight line, like when is that breakthrough going to come? You think like you do things, you try to better your life and better your habits because there's going to be a payoff, right? That it's going to make you feel better internally and maybe make you feel more connected to God, to the universe, whatever the individual person is into. So yeah, another great line. I'm smoking a grapevine, sipping a grape juice, copping a white line. It's getting harder to face you. Oh God, yeah. Take my hands off the wheel. I'm speeding. They were in sync right there. That was a part where they were in sync. I said I hate you when I left. I didn't mean it. Open wounds from my nose, still bleeding. Only you can clean me up. I'm still fiending. Cold sweats and those meds can't treat it. No sleep. All party through the weekend. Kerosene, black smoke. I'm breathing. Somebody save me. I've been falling off the deep end. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. That's repeated. I couldn't give a fuck. I never gave a fuck. All I know is I don't know how to give a fuck. Under pressure, I don't got control of my aggression under the influence. I'm about to make a bad impression on the dresser. It's some ammunition and a weapon. And I've been smoking on that shit since I was an adolescent. 3 6s. I'm trying to get lucky number 7. I wonder if they got a spot for junkies up in heaven. Leave a mess if they gonna find my body in the bedroom. And they can listen to the song if they want my confession. A lot of repeating stuff. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's it, man. What else is there to say? It's a great song. It's a fantastic song. I was right, man. At least in my opinion, and other people may disagree with me that don't like MGK or don't like Honest Ave. That's a good collab, man. I mean, I could see them doing more stuff with each other, in the future. I think these guys and just like their style and what they're about, I think they just blend with each other very well. So yeah, as I close this up, I think the biggest takeaway for me in listening to this and like really diving into the lyrics is like just as like a human, not necessarily men's mental health, women's mental health, is that like not in every situation, but I have to lead first around other people and I have to be willing to open up because of what that is potentially going to bring into my life. The right people will come in through your authenticity and from you opening up and sharing about your experience and what's going on in your headspace. The wrong people, they won't be receptive to that. They might run away from that, but you know what? Who the fuck cares? So be it. I mean, through authenticity, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the right people. So I just appreciate these two artists. It was a really good song. I could see that song helping out a lot of people. A lot of people go to that song maybe when they're feeling down, when they're not feeling great about themselves. Again, this human experience is very clunky and very weird, and there's no rhyme or reason. And we evolved as a human species to be in tribes. We can't do this thing alone. You shouldn't rely on people for everything, because you should still have an element of your personality that is independent. But even then, if you're somebody that thinks they're super independent, you like your alone time, you like your isolation, I have gone into that category so many times. What happens is if you do it too long, you kind of forget how to integrate yourself around other people. Like, there can become this obsession and this addiction with basically being alone all the time. And again, it's not bad to do that per se, because you can get away from all of the noise, all of the clutter, all of the friction, and you can go introspective and really ask yourself, where do you need to get better? It's healthy. It's healthy to isolate. I'm saying for extended periods of time, it's hard to integrate yourself back into the world. But yeah, man, those would be my big takeaways from listening to this song. It's definitely going to go on my playlist, and now it encourages me to go listen to the whole album that he put out, because it's probably fire. It's probably fucking bangers, dude, and just more of what this song suggests. So, anyways, guys, that was the music reaction. Felt good to get back in here and just chop it up with you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, if you got value out of it, if it was entertaining, if it was right down your alley, I basically ask that you do 4 things. You don't have to do all 4, but especially if it wasn't a waste of your time, I just want you guys to do me a solid, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment in the comment section below, and then share the message with somebody else, whether that's over social media. You send it to somebody that you think might be interested in this type of content, this piece of content, or word of mouth, telling somebody about it in person. That's how I grow this channel. And I didn't give up on the channel. I didn't give up on you guys. A little sporadic. I got a full time job. I'm doing other things. I knew I'd always come back to it. Not worried about it. But yeah, do me a solid. If it was not a waste of your time, do me one of those 4 things. I love you guys. Have a great week, and I will see you on the next video.